The story of Victor Frankenstein is a haunting journey into the consequences of human ambition and the basic need for connection. It begins far away from civilization, in the frozen, lonely waters of the North Pole. A sea captain named Robert Walton is leading an expedition to explore the unknown. During this voyage, he and his crew find a man named Victor Frankenstein, who is nearly dead from exhaustion and cold. As they nurse him back to health, Victor begins to tell the story of his life, a story that serves as a dark warning to anyone who seeks glory without considering the costs. Victor grew up in a loving, wealthy home in Geneva, Switzerland. As a child, he was deeply curious about the world and how it worked. He wasn't just interested in the science of his day, he was fascinated by old, mysterious ideas about magic and life. After his mother died, Victor went away to university in Germany. There, he became obsessed with the boundary between life and death. He wanted to do something that no human had ever done. He wanted to create life itself. For 2 years, he worked in total isolation, ignoring his health and his family. He spent his nights in cemeteries and morgues, collecting body parts to build a massive, human-like figure. On a dark, rainy night in November, Victor finally succeeded. Using a spark of electricity, he brought his creation to life. But the moment the creature opened its dull yellow eyes, Victor's pride turned into pure terror. The being he had spent years building was hideous. Overwhelmed by fear and regret, Victor didn't try to talk to the creature or help it. Instead, he ran away and hid, leaving the monster to wander into the world alone. Victor hoped that by ignoring his creation, it would simply go away, but this choice would haunt him for the rest of his life. Months later, Victor received a letter from his father with terrible news. His youngest brother, William, had been murdered. Victor rushed home to Geneva, and during a storm, he caught a glimpse of the creature in the woods. He realized instantly that his creation was the killer. However, a kind young woman named Justine, who lived with the family, was blamed for the crime. Even though Victor knew the truth, he was too afraid to speak up because people would think he was insane. Justine was executed, leaving Victor crushed by the weight of his own silence and guilt. Desperate for peace, Victor traveled into the mountains to find solitude. While standing on a glacier, the creature appeared before him. To Victor's surprise, the monster was not a mindless animal. He was intelligent and spoke with great sadness and eloquence. The creature told Victor about his life since being abandoned. He had learned to survive in the woods and had spent months watching a family living in a small cottage. By observing them, he learned how to speak, how to read, and what it meant to love. He even tried to help them by secretly leaving firewood at their door. The creature's heart was originally kind, but every time he tried to show himself to humans, they reacted with violence and hatred because of his appearance. Even the family he admired drove him away in a fit of terror. This constant rejection turned the creature's sorrow into a burning rage. He felt that since he could not have love, he would cause fear. He admitted to killing William as a way to hurt Victor, the man who had brought him into a world where he could never belong. The monster then made a demand. He wanted Victor to build him a female companion. He promised that if he had someone to love, he would take her deep into the wilderness and never bother humanity again. Victor, feeling a sense of duty and fear, agreed. He traveled to a remote island in Scotland to begin the work. However, as he looked at the half-finished female creature, he began to worry. What if she was even more violent? What if they had children and created a race of devils? In a moment of panic, Victor destroyed the new creation right in front of the monster. The monster was heartbroken and furious. He gave Victor a chilling warning. "I shall be with you on your wedding night." Shortly after, the monster killed Victor's best friend, Henry. Victor was even accused of the murder and spent time in prison, his life falling apart piece by piece. Despite the danger, Victor decided to move forward with his plan to marry his childhood sweetheart, Elizabeth. He thought the monster's threat meant that he, Victor, would be the one killed on the wedding night. He carried a pistol and searched the house, but he had misunderstood the monster's cruelty. While Victor was searching the hallways, he heard a scream. The monster had killed Elizabeth, taking away the person Victor loved most. This final act of revenge broke Victor's father, who died of grief shortly after. With his entire family gone, Victor's life had no purpose left except for one thing: revenge. He spent months chasing the monster across Europe and into the frozen Arctic, which is how he eventually ended up on Robert Walton's ship. After telling his story, Victor finally died. A few days later, Captain Walton found the monster standing over Victor's body. The creature wasn't celebrating, he was weeping. He felt a deep sense of regret for the pain he had caused, but he also reminded Walton that his life had been a nightmare of loneliness. With his creator dead, the monster felt there was no reason for him to exist either. He told Walton that he would travel to the furthest point of the north and burn himself to death so that no one would ever know he existed. He leaped from the ship onto an ice floe and disappeared into the darkness, leaving behind a tragic lesson about the dangers of playing God and the importance of compassion.